I've got a 1998 Yamaha 115 two-stroke, and I'm going to clean out the cooling passages. And a year ago I had an overheating problem, and long story short, what I ended up having to do is I had to remove the water jacket from here and manually clean them out in order to fix my problem. So what I'd like to do on a yearly basis is just flush them out. What I'm going to use this year to flush this out is a product called Rydlyme Marine. Rydlyme Marine is a descaler that removes any type of calcium out of any type of passages as long as you can get it to it. I tried using this last year, but the problem that I ran into, I don't think it was circulating up through the head as well as I would have liked. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that we're getting water passing through the thermostat housing here, and if not, I'm going to try another way to actually hook it up. Right now what I've got is I've got a bilge pump down here inside this bucket here, basically a plastic lined basket, and I've got it recirculating up through the muffs into the lower unit here. And the idea is, what you do is you mix this Rydlyme 1-to-1, meaning if you put in a gallon of water, you put in a gallon of this Rydlyme, and that's the mixture you're supposed to use with this. And the idea is you're supposed to let it go for a couple hours until basically it stops foaming or bubbling. So that's what I'm going to do here. But let's take a look here at the thermostat housing area here. And as you can see, this is really gunked up. I cleaned this out last year, and the really disappointing thing to me is that I use salt off every time I go out, and I flush the motor with it, and unfortunately it just doesn't look like it's doing a great job. I guess it's probably better than not doing anything, but I'm really disappointed by how this looks. So my hope is I can use this Rydlyme, and I hope this Rydlyme actually really flushes this out. And let me see if I can get back into that passage here a little bit better so you can see it. Alright, so I'm using my camera here, my flashlight on my phone here, to kind of look up inside there, and as you can see there's quite a bit of stuff still up in there. And that's what I'm hoping to get out. That's what I'm hoping this Rydlyme will get out for us here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this thermostat housing back on, or just the cover I mean, and we'll flush it. Also, what's really important is that when you flush this, you have to take out the thermostats and also the impeller to make sure that it is flowing through the system. And one other thing that I did on a previous video is I showed you how I basically fixed the top of this here, and that looks like it's actually holding up pretty well. So alright, so let me go ahead and get started with it. Okay, so I've got it circulating. I've got the bilge pump pumping it through the lower unit. And by the way, the bilge pump that I've got on there, it says it's 800 gallons per hour. So I don't know how strong that is, but we'll give it a go. So what I want to do is I want to pull this cover off, and I want to see if the water is circulating through there. So that's what I'm going to do next. And by the way, I've got the P-hole plugged up per their recommendations, so I'm going to pull this off next. So as you can see, there's no water coming up through there, so it has zero chance of cleaning it if it can't reach it. So I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to attach it to this, to the flushing hose there, and we'll see if that gets up through the head. So I've got it running, but it's still not getting up into the head, which is pretty interesting. So I'll need to figure something else out. So the next thing I tried is I tried hooking up the hose just to the earmuffs to see if water was coming out of here, and unfortunately it wasn't. So next I hooked it up to this, which is basically the flush for supposedly just the block, and just hooking up the hose directly to that, I still didn't get water coming out of there. So I need to figure something else out. Okay, this is attempt number 3 or 4, I don't know, I'm losing track. But basically what I did this time is I took off the lower unit, and what I did is I hooked the tube right up directly to the water intake, and by doing that it immediately started coming out of the thermostat. So I went ahead and put the cover back on and added another gallon of mixture. So now I have a gallon and a half of Rydlyme and a gallon and a half of water, and I'm going to flush this now for probably a couple hours here, and then we'll take a look. So this combination looks much better. I'm very excited this is getting up into the head now. So I finished flushing it last night, and then I flush it with fresh water for about 10 minutes after that. Then today I took off the thermostat covers again, and as you can see here, there's still stuff on the outside of the thermostat here. But what I actually was kind of excited about here this time is that inside here, for example, those passages actually look like they've gotten much cleaner. Are they perfect? Absolutely not. And there is still some stuff in there, as you can kind of see, but again, that's much better than what it was before. So in conclusion, the more that I look at this thing, the more impressed I am. I mean, if you look at the amount of stuff that's actually built up inside of this, inside the motor here from before, it's just amazing. And how it cleaned it out actually is really impressive. These little spots there next to it that still have some stuff in there, those are not through passages. Those are basically just dead-end spots. So the fluid really wasn't flowing through there. So anyway, the point being again is I'm really impressed with this product, and I'm definitely going to be using it every year as a maintenance item.